So talking with Jordan Owens now, and Jordan, you run the production here at Sulphur Springs High School, but can you tell us your role in that program, but also other responsibilities here at the high school?
Yeah, absolutely. So the program is called Digital Communications. That's what the state calls it, but we like to call it AV production here, so audio and video production. And it's a program that's been around for a while in many different, I guess, different looks and different ways. So like I was a graduate here, and whenever I was here, that looked like mainly just Wildcat TV, producing student-produced newscast. But now it's kind of turned into more like a 4-year program. So we kind of treat it, as many of our other CTE programs do, we treat it like a college-based program. So you have an intro level course, and then you work your way up to a practicum level course your senior year. So we have 4 different courses, 64 awesome students in those courses. So we average about 64 students each year from freshmen all the way through seniors. But basically, this is a great opportunity for our students to get creative and to learn how to operate camera equipment, some of the things that you guys do there at KSST. So operate the equipment properly, and then how to take what you're capturing and then edit it in a convincing and compelling way. So just a really cool opportunity for students to create in many different ways. So we do projects like commercial projects where they'll produce 30-second commercials for maybe a fake company that they come up with, products, things like that. We'll do short films, so students get to go from the scripting process all the way through storyboarding to capturing and acting a little bit with their peers, and then producing a short film project. So that's another project that we do. And then also we'll do community-based projects. So different companies or different nonprofits will reach out to us and ask if we could come film different events at their businesses, or maybe banquets that they do. Like we worked with Heart of Hope before here in town, and we've worked with the Veterans Memorial that came into town. We worked to help promote them and kind of get the word out about that as well. So a really cool opportunity for students, not just in the classroom or on campus, but to go out into the community and get real world experience with cameras and editing video.
Man, it sounds like this is quite the operation you're running here at the high school.
It's fun. Like I said, 4 different classes. So there's an intro level where they learn just the basics of the editing software that we use. And then AV1, they get a little more hands-on, get outside the classroom more, actually operating the equipment. AV2, that's where they'll go off campus some. And then a practicum level where we've had students in the past come and intern at KSST, maybe even intern at different businesses running their social media, because AV is all encompassing nowadays. It's not just your traditional broadcast journalism. It could also just be social media videos and social media campaigns. So letting students get an opportunity to do that as well.
And man, what a cool thing this program has grown to. So you were talking about how it was formerly kind of mostly just kind of like a Wildcat TV operation.
Right.
So did you have a hand in kind of growing this whole program?
So I have. So this is my 4th year here. And so the Wildcat TV had kind of gone by the wayside. And it had become more focused on the state TEKs is what they call them, the certain aspects of whatever the CTE field might be that they want you to teach. So it became a little more classroom regimented, but then now we've kind of brought back in that student-produced newscast aspect to it. And so that's something that the students have an opportunity to do and share their content with other students here on campus and the community through our YouTube channel. But yeah, just kind of following along with what the state requires, but then also still having that creative outlet for students is what we tried to do here.
And that's really cool. And you were talking a little bit about, and maybe this was the introductory class, but to get a lot of experience using a lot of the editing software. What kind of programs are y'all using in the class?
So Adobe Premiere is what we use. We use the Adobe Suite. So students will learn, in that intro level course, the basics of that. And then, of course, as you go along, you get a little more in depth with what the program can do. We also use Adobe Photoshop for photo editing, and then Adobe Illustrator, which is a graphic design program. So students, it's kind of cool because they can choose what they want to focus on. If they want to focus on the audio video side of things, they can stay with that program. or if they decide graphic design or photography is more their route, they can go to a different program with Miss Tingle and do graphic design type things. So it's really a freedom of choice for them to choose what they're interested in, what they're passionate about, and kind of pursue that.
And you talked about enrollee numbers, but since you've promoted and grown the program a whole bunch, have you seen growth in that regard?
Absolutely. Every year, it seems like we have more and more eighth graders as they get to high school sign up for this program, which is awesome. And it's encouraging to myself and Miss Tingle, the two who kind of teach these classes. And so we're seeing more and more interest in this. And then sometimes, students will discover maybe it's not for them. So you'll have a little bit of fall off here and there. But for the most part, the program continues to grow. We're having more and more students get certified in the software that we use, which is great for them also. So just continuing to see that growth as we move.
And you talked about a little bit of the real world experience that they get.
Yes.
Getting out of the classroom, but can you give us some examples of what some of your students in the past have done?
So some students in the past, as I mentioned, we've had some students intern with KSST. A more recent student that I had, Jacob Simler, he's actually now at Baylor University in their film program. And so he's been, I've been in contact with him. He's getting some great experience there and just furthering his knowledge in the AV world. And then we've also had other students that have interned with maybe some startup companies. In the digital AV world, a lot of people can go and produce wedding films, things like that. So we have students who kind of go into that entrepreneurship side of things as well. So it's a really cool opportunity. Lots of different ways for students to further their career and move into a career field.
And this is a really cool thing you're doing here. But you talked about how this is you have to follow a certain state certification. So
Right.
what does the certification process for these students look like?
So we primarily focus on Adobe Premiere. So it's an industry-based certification. So this is recognized by film industry, broadcast industry as well. Basically, these students are learning the program and learning the features to a level that is industry standard. And so they can leave and graduate high school with their diploma, and then also this is certification through Adobe, through the Adobe Creative Suite and Adobe Premiere. So it's a really cool opportunity, and they get to do it for free. They don't have to pay for that. So the school provides that for them. So it's a great opportunity for them to have that in their back pocket and in their resume.
Yeah, and as a former student, believe me when I say the second they no longer have the free option to do that Adobe, they'll feel it.
That's right.
It
Yes,
is
sir.
certainly not cheap, but you mentioned the process of going through certification, but what would you say to those that are thinking about joining this program but perhaps on the fence about it?
Absolutely. Every student nowadays, they're on their phone, they're on TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, things like that. They have their favorite YouTube stars, right? And some students might think, wow, that's something that I would be interested in doing. I just don't know how to do it, or I don't have the means to do it. I don't have the equipment to do it. We provide you with that here at the high school. You get to use industry standard equipment, not just the editing software, but the cameras themselves. We're talking about very expensive cameras that you get to put your hands on and go out and work with and produce content for the school, for community members, and then also we do passion projects as well, to where students can work on things that they're interested in. So it's a great outlet to be creative, to take that creative space in your head and put it out there and create things on a daily basis. And that's why I love the classes, because it's not just textbook oriented or just working through math problems, things like that. It's a chance for them to come in, and it's kind of a free reign. Just be creative, have a process with that, but be creative in the outcome. So
Anything else you'd like to add?
I do want to give a shout out to Nathan Bilyeu. He finished 6th place overall in the state at the UIL Film Festival. So he's one of our freshman students. This was his first entry into the UIL Film Festival. So we're looking forward to the next 3 years or so of him entering in again. But he finished 6th overall in the state, and that was an incredible accomplishment on his part. Did it all on his own, used the equipment that we had here at the high school, and came up with the story, the script, got all of his actors together, produced the thing from both behind the camera and then also in post-production. So shout out to Nathan, awesome job. And that's just one of the many examples of students doing great things here at the high school.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Jordan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.